I want to talk about a slightly controversial topic today. So if you can't handle open-minded thinking and doing things differently, might be better for you to just click away from this video. I also want to say that this video is not meant to undermine the mastering engineer's profession. It's just meant as showing a different perspective. So with that out of the way, let's get started. I've noticed a little bit of a trend in the industry, and that is producers and mixing engineers doing their own mastering compared to going to an external mastering engineer. And in order to understand that, let's first take a look at why people actually choose to go to an external mastering engineer. Because I think that there are three, maybe a fourth one, but three real reasons to go with an external mastering engineer. And the first reason is monitoring. Mastering engineers usually have a way better monitoring setup. And those monitoring setups are at a level that a lot of people simply cannot afford. So it makes a lot of sense to pay a small fee for the mastering instead of paying a lot for those monitors. The second reason is experience. If you have somebody that masters music day in, day out, they get a lot of experience with a lot of different music styles. And they can use that for reason number three, the extra set of ears. Because mastering engineers are listening to so much music, they can really provide you with valuable feedback on your mix. Now, honestly, this doesn't always happen. In my experience from using external mastering engineers, some really provide feedback. Others, I've noticed, just master whatever you send them, which is probably also a business model. And this definitely happens, of course, with the instant mastering services. Like, there's no feedback happening there. But I think it's one of the values of having an external mastering engineer. The fourth half value is the gear. A dedicated mastering studio usually has some very nice and cool gear, but I do think that this only matters a little bit. Definitely with the powerful plugins that we have these days. Now, I've started doing my own mastering 9 years ago. Almost 10 years ago. And I want to walk through the same 3.5 reasons list to tell you why those reasons don't exist for me anymore. So again, the first one is monitoring. And well, do I need to say more? These monitors are so accurate that I catch a lot of mistakes done in Billboard type tracks. Like if you're working on Billboard tracks and you haven't edited your vocals, for instance, correctly, I will hear it. But keep in mind that the speakers are only part of this. I also had the acoustics done in this room. So monitoring is not really a reason for me to go to an external mastering engineer. The second reason, experience. Well, I built that up. And the thing with experience is just take small steps. I'm doing this every single day for 9 years now, almost 10 years. So I'm starting to get very experienced with the subject of mastering. Now the extra set of ears, well, I just have two and I can't grow extra ones. So that's a bit of an issue, but I have a lot of friends within the audio industry. And the relationship I have with those friends is a mutual respect and a will to help each other further and to improve upon each other's work. So whenever I send out a mix or a master to one of my friends to check out, I just know that they are going to be very honest, and I can also be very honest in return. There are no egos involved, and really we just try to improve each other. And this is one of the keys, because if I wouldn't have that, I probably would still work with an external mastering engineer, because self-confidence only gets you that far. And I mean, self-confidence is very dangerous in this job. And when it comes to gear, well, I'm slowly buying more gear, and actually plugins has taken me very far. However, I can imagine that it still doesn't make the most sense, but there is an extra reason why I'm doing it myself, and that's workflow. I don't have to wait for an external studio to finish their work, and I can also send my clients mastered preview files. So what they hear is what they get. As a matter of fact, mastering is always included in my mixing sessions. You cannot order my mixing sessions without mastering, because I want to be able to give my client a very clear picture of what something is going to sound in the end. What you hear is what you get. And of course, I know that you're all wondering, yes, my clients do get access to the pre-masters, the session files and everything that they want. And if you're one of my clients, you probably know this because it's really no issue to get a pre-master and master somewhere else. The only thing that I want to achieve is that at least I can show the other mastering engineer or the client my thoughts on how the track should be mastered. But, you know, every other master is also okay. So yeah, those are my reasons. But since this has become a trend, I've asked 2 other people to talk about this. And the first person I've asked is Fieke. And you've probably seen her on this channel in the Austrian OC818 review. I'll link it over here. She was playing the accordion over there. But she's actually a master of audio witchcraft in her own Dearworld studio. And this is how she thinks about mastering and external mastering engineers.
I mean, having a professional mastering engineer in a project, I think, is always an asset. The thing is, though, often with projects, the budget is already 0 to none at the end of it. So there won't be much money for a mastering engineer. So then as a mixing engineer, it's, you know, you're already involved in the project. You already know the wishes of the clients, where they want their music to fit in. The first time I did mastering, I think it started out with clients that were already so happy with the mix. They were even doubting, like, do we even need mastering? They didn't also maybe not fully understand what it meant. So I did warn them, like, you know, what mastering means. I tried to explain to them, but they were simply super happy with the mix. And I knew it was, you know, already in a very good state. You know, I wouldn't have been ashamed to have it as it was. But of course, for me, I would then check, you know, how are the levels? What is the loudness of it? You know, is the low end, you know, nice and neat? Is there not too much going on? I started checking it thoroughly on multiple speakers and headphones and other situations to make sure that I would be comfortable with having it out there as it was. But yeah, basically that's how it started with a track that actually didn't need any mastering anymore.
The second person I asked was George, and George starred in a super popular video I made about mastering. I'll link that one over here if you haven't seen it already. And this is his story.
During my career, there was a moment clients asked, okay, how does it sound after mastering? Because we were mixing and doing stuff. Then you have a pre-master. So I thought, let's dial in some nice stuff, which I already had. So doing that, I found out that it works very well. So, and clients became very, very satisfied. I do the playing a lot myself, and I do so many things by myself. And for me, then it's strange to give the mastering to totally someone else who's not involved in my part. But that's how I feel about it.
So I think we should never underestimate the value of a good mastering engineer. A mastering engineer can really make or break your song, but it should definitely not be ignored. On the other side of the equation, I do think it makes perfect sense for people to master their own songs. I mean, if the product comes out sounding awesome, then what's the issue? And I think that this behavior and this workflow should be a little bit less frowned upon in the audio community, because I think moving forward it's going to be more and more common. Maybe it actually is already common. Now, if you're thinking about mastering your own tracks, then George has a little bit of an advice for you.
Just do it. Find out how it works and make mistakes. We all do. And by making mistakes, you learn. Be realistic, do it yourself, and buy great monitors.
And of course, don't forget to check out the memberships and these videos. Keep pushing, and bye-bye.